welcome back to my channel. Mia here. Today I have a little bit of spare time, so I'm gonna go ahead and record an extra video for the week. I hope you guys enjoy it. This video is going to be a book review of My Lady Jane, and this is by Cynthia and Brodi, Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. This is a YA historical retelling comedy, which is very different from anything that I've ever read before. It was honestly very refreshing to read and very enjoyable. Pretty much this is a historical retelling of My Lady Jane. Lady Jane was a first cousin to King Edward VI, and she was married to Guilford Dudley, and Edward ended up making her Queen of England. Her reign didn't last very long as she was overruled by Mary and her followers. So pretty much this story retells that story in history with a big aspect of comedy. So it pretty much mocks a lot of things from this era as it tells this story. A lot of things were kept true to history in my opinion, but a lot of things have changed. For example, in history, the war was caused because of the differences in religious beliefs from Mary and King Edward. And in this book is because there are two different kinds of humans. The ones that are called verities and the ones that are atheists. And the atheists have the power to shapeshift into animals. So they're like this superhuman or magical creatures. So the verities dislike the atheists and want to suppress them because of their ability to shapeshift. Pretty much the story is told through three perspectives. You've got Lady Jane, you've got Guilford, her husband, and you also have King Edward. So in this story, King Edward falls ill and he believes he will be dying shortly. Duke Dudley, Guilford Dudley's father, ends up convincing the king to change his will, and in his will to make Lady Jane the heir to the crown, and he ends up convincing him to also pretty much convince Lady Jane to marry his younger son, Guilford Dudley, and whatnot. So all of that happens. Neither Guilford nor Lady Jane are happy with this transaction. None of them wanted to get married. Guilford is actually an atheist. He is a horse during the day and he is a human during the night. He has no control over that. It just happens every single day like clockwork. When the sun comes out, he becomes a horse, and when the sun sets, he becomes a man. And Lady Jane is very much an introvert. She loves to read, she loves to be educated and know a lot of things, and she had no intentions whatsoever of ever getting married. However, she does end up accepting to marry Guilford due to the love that she has and respect that she has for her cousin, the king. So after they get married and the king's health decreases, eventually she of course becomes Queen of England, and a lot of things happen after that. The story is pretty much mocking the sexist attitudes of the time, and is also mocking the lifestyles and the ridiculous extravagance and social graces of higher class in England during the 16th century. So that was really enjoyable. The comedy throughout the story is very consistent and is so much fun to read. I mean, it's not a story that's gonna leave you thinking afterwards or that is extremely thought-provoking, but it was just so fun and entertaining, and the writing style flew very beautifully. You never got bored throughout the entire story. Yes, there were parts of the story that seemed much more immature and young, but I feel that that was done that way purposefully because that was how the humor was added to the story. I personally thought it was a brilliant story and it was written beautifully. Also, even though the authors made it mainly a comedy, they also managed to create a very well developed plot throughout, where you have the typical royal backstabbing and dramas, and of course all the plotting and conspiracies, all of that is still involved in the plot in a way that is very well done, but it doesn't overcome the comedy and humorous attitude throughout the book. I have to say, I really did like the characters. I loved especially the romance and the relationship between Lady Jane and Guilford Dudley. I thought it was very refreshing to see in a YA relationship where neither of the two partners are abusive or overly controlling or anything like that towards the other person. I thought it was very refreshing to see a relationship where they both had mutual respect for each other, and although yes, of course, they did get onto each other's throats from time to time, and they did have different views and opinions on certain topics, and they did disagree occasionally, but for the most part, actually throughout the entire relationship, they do maintain a very much respectful attitude towards each other. It was a very different kind of love, and I thought that was very enjoyable. It was, like I said, a very fast read. You don't have to overthink anything. You're just reading for the pure enjoyment of reading and laughing out loud with his hilarious commentary and quotes. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic. I really do recommend this book. I ended up giving it, I believe, 4 out of 5 stars. Just because in some areas, especially the parts that were narrated by King Edward, some of them did seem to be a little bit too immature for my taste, but like I said, for the most part, very enjoyable story, very well developed plot, a lot of comedy throughout that made it very fun to read. I think this book is very much a mood book, and you have to be in that kind of mood to be able to really enjoy it. I hear that the same 3 authors are planning on writing 2 more books about Lady Jane, so I'm not sure if this is going to end up becoming a trilogy or not. I'm happy with the way this ended as a standalone, but if they bring more books, I do plan on reading them because I think they're gonna be fantastic, just as this one was. And I believe that's gonna be it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give me some thumbs up, and if you've read it before or if you plan on reading it, leave me some comments down below. Let me know what you think about this story, and I'll see you very soon in another video.